getting started in AutoCAD is something that workspace setting is required. You can't just open AutoCAD and then begin to draw. You need to set up some attributes that will enable AutoCAD function just the way you want. AutoCAD by default, the settings are in inches, so they will definitely not work the same way you will be drafting. So workspace setting is something very useful. So how do you get started? Setting up workspace requires setting up things like drawing units, drawing limits, dimension style, text style, creating layers and stuff like that. So how do you get started? How do you draw a unit? So let's get started with drawing units. Drawing units. Setting up drawing units. Mouse over to the setup, the format menu, come down to units and click. Then a dialog box like this is provided. On the length type, choose precision to be 0. On the angle type, choose degree, minutes and seconds. We're making this choice because we intend to use survey data on this project. Precision for this degree, minutes and seconds. Choose the third on the list. This is 0 degree, 00 minutes and 00 seconds. By default, AutoCAD comes as anti-clockwise, that is the angles. So enable clockwise. Your angles will be opening in clockwise. Units to scale inserted content should be millimeter, that is should be the unit you intend to use, such that external contents that are coming into your own project, AutoCAD will definitely scale them to millimeters. Sample output. This is basically the settings we have done here. AutoCAD is giving us preview of them. Light or lighting. This is something we don't intend to use because we are not working on 3D. It has to do with ambient weather or something. Mouse over to the direction and click such that you will choose the base angle, which is usually not. That's where our bearing is originated. So click OK and you have just set up the drawing units. Setting drawing limit. Mouse over to the format menu. Click on drawing limit and then look at the command prompt. AutoCAD is requiring specify lower left corner, and the lower left corner, the default is given to you 0, 0. That's your XY, which is something you're viewing right here. That's the default position for the start off of your workspace. So that is good to go. Press the enter key to accept those values. The next, AutoCAD is asking specify upper right corner. By default is giving you 12 by 9, which is just the screen range you're seeing here. You have to modify that to accommodate much space as possible. So we are giving it the value of 500,000, 500,000. So that means we are going to have equal environment. Equal coordinates. The X is 500,000, the Y is 500,000. So we are going to have 500 by 500 meter worth of land or worth of space. So press the enter key to accept that. And mind you, the specification here should always be larger than the project site because you need allowance to work. You have multiple pages, so by the time you make, for example, you have a plot of land, you want to develop a bungalow for a plot of 100 by 100, and then you come here, you set up your workspace to be 100 by 100 meter. You have problem, you have issues during printing, in fact even during design. So you need to specify a larger amount of workspace that will accommodate multiple drawings. Like 500 meters by 500 is something quite big that will accommodate enough drawings for me. So that's just how you create your drawing limits. So, but you really have to be concerned with the result of the modification of the drawing limit, because it's something that you have to be sure that it has taken place. So how do you verify what has just taken place? You do that by mousing over to the view section and scrolling down to the zoom and then zooming all. So what this does is that it zooms to the extent of the new screen of 500 by 500. Right now your screen is still on 12 by 9, which was the default value for the drawing limits AutoCAD provided, but we have modified that to capture 500 by 500,000 millimeters. So we have to zoom to that level. So that's what we're about to do now. Clicking on this will just activate that. So click all. So you will see AutoCAD has regenerated the model. AutoCAD has regenerated the model. The model space now, the black screen you're seeing here, is precisely at the 500 by 500,000 millimeter we just modify. And how do you know that? You simply know that by instruction, the history that has taken place here. You see, AutoCAD regenerating model is something that was not here before, but just after that zoom process, generating model came available. So that tells us that a process has taken place, and in fact it has taken place at a high speed. That's why we are not able to recognize that, but that has been in place. So the verification does not stop there. We have to confirm it. After the verification, we have to confirm it. So confirmation of the zoom level, we have to pick a line tool. Just click on the line tool. Be careful about this. Click on the line tool and then specify a start point. The specification of a start point, just click somewhere. Just click. Alright. So once you click, just move your cursor to the side you want the line to travel. So you want the line to travel this way. Okay, the line is not going very straight, so let's enable a command called auto. Just move your cursor slightly down on the drawing aids here and click, and then your cursor will be enabled in the auto mode. So now you have your drawing very straight. So what we intend to do is that we want to confirm if really the zoom to all has taken place. That's the regeneration of model has really taken place. So we are typing about 10 meters, which is 10,000 millimeters. After clicking at a specific point, moving the cursor to the side you intend the line to travel, don't click yet, just move your cursor towards that direction and then type in the command prompt. You don't need to come and click down here, but if you're not very sure if it will work out for you, come and click at the command prompt and still take your cursor in that direction and then type 10,000 millimeter and press the enter key. You will notice a break at point. Just notice a break at point. That break at point was not there before. It's after the pressing of enter key that the break at point appeared, and that's to tell you that your 10 meter is at that break at point. So you can simply press the escape key, which terminates the line command and giving you a very short line right there. So long as you have done the correct settings, this is the kind of result you will also see in your AutoCAD in your practicals. If you're not able to see a result like this, then you have a missing step. Just go back and confirm or start all over again until you get a result like that. So the result is quite minute, because having 10 meters in a box of 500,000 millimeters, having 10,000 millimeters in a box of 500 millimeters is something that definitely it will look small because of that scale. So the result is perfect. So how do you bring that to the screen now? You have to make that 10,000 millimeter line bigger. So if you have scroll mouse, it's something that is quite easy. You can just scroll until it comes out. But if you don't have a scroll mouse, then mouse over to your view again and go to zoom, and then this time around tell it to zoom to extent. So it's going to zoom to the extent of the object. If it is a drawing, then it's going to zoom to the extent of that drawing. So you now have it in place. I'm using my scroll now to zoom in and out in order to position it just the way I want it on the screen. So that's how you can verify your drawing limit and then confirm it with a 10-meter line. And this 10-meter line is not just there. This is going to be your zoom level. Your scale is something that is below here. I earlier told you that you have scale here, which is 1:1, and is good to go in the drafting. During print, you set up scales to what you want. Setting up dimension style. Mouse over to the format menu, click on dimension style. On the dimension style manager, you see you have standard architectural metric. You have options here where you can set current, create new style for the dimension style, and as well modify. So we are going to modify the existing standard. We're going to modify. So we'll now click on the modifier tab, and then it takes us to the text tab. Sometimes it takes you to line depending on where you were initially. So you all the same, click on the primary units tab, and once you're on the primary units tab, then choose 0 at the precision dialog here, and that's just all you're going to be doing here. Mouse over to the text tab. So on the text tab here, the text height should be about 200. This is not constant. It's not a constant value. It varies depending on how large or small you want your text to be, but on average it's good to go with 200 or 150. Even 300 is good to go. So the text alignment, this is the placement of your text on the dimension. So it should be aligned with dimension, and offset from dimension line, something that should be around 150. Offset from dimension line. Please keep your eye on the sample here as well, so that you'll be seeing the result in real time. So mouse over to the symbols and arrows where you have arrowheads. First here, choose architectural tick. So once you choose architectural tick, don't mind about a second, it's coming automatic to be same with that. So the leader here is something that you don't have to change, but then for the arrowheads in general, change the arrowhead size to be 150 as well. So that's just what you're going to do here, and then mouse over to the lines. This is where you're going to see the real effects of the lines in sample. So extend beyond tick, it's something should be 150, and then baseline spacing should also be 150. If you keep your eye here, you'll definitely be seeing them instantly previewing. So extend beyond dimension line is something that should be 150, same as the next one, which is offset from origin. Once you are done like this, you can click OK, and then your dimension style is ready. But one thing I want to make clear is that you see the text, my dimension placement is centered and along the dimension line. But if you click on architectural metric here, you see that the text placement is just above, and mine is along the dimension. So this is something that is of a matter of choice. It depends on how you want it, but if we also want it to be in that manner, then mouse over back to your standard and still click on modify, and then locate the text tab, and then under text placement, this was text alignment. Under text placement this time, open this box and just choose above. Notice what will happen here. Open this box, choose above, and you will notice that, just that. So click OK, you have your result just the same way architectural people does too. In fact, default, not architectural people, default value of AutoCAD has to. So the next thing now is which do you want to be current. which do you want to be current. If you want standard to be current, you just click it there and it becomes the current dimension style in your project. So that is how you can modify a dimension style. But how do you create a new one? For example, you can create multiple dimension styles that will target different components. If this standard is for your walls, or let's say floor plan, and then you want a dimension style for the site plan, you definitely need to have different dimension styles. You can't use the same dimension style for your floor plan on the site plan. So how do you create new site plan? New dimension. You click on new. Just click on the one you recently set up and then click on new and give it a name. So this can be CAS site plan. So you see it's starting with the one you just set up, that is the standard. You have other ones here, but it's starting with the standard because you prefer it to start with the standard so that you have minimal modification. So you click next. So you see the standard now is the default value now is that of the standard, but then you have new dimension style CAS site plan. So what you will do here, basically what we normally do is to increase the font size, let's say 500 this time around, because the scale for the site plan will definitely be bigger, so you need something larger. So we increase the text height, and that's just all. It's not going to be the current one. Standard is the current, so but that will be in existence. Now you have CAS site plan and the standard, so you click OK. So that's how you set up your dimension style, and once you set them up, you will notice that dimension control is here. This is CAS site plan, is the current dimension, so you have other ones here. You can switch them. Choose any one of your choice. So how do you apply the dimension? How do you make use of the dimension? Let's try it out. I try every style that I set up, so you just have to follow me in this tutorial. The same way I'm doing should be the same way you'll be doing. It's the best practice. So how do you try out dimension? Click on dimension menu and then pick linear. We are picking linear because the line is horizontal. Linear is good to go with purely horizontal and vertical lines, so pick linear for such line, and then click at the beginning and then click at the end. Move your cursor up a little bit and click, and then that gives you your dimension.